I didn't like the new Terminator Chaplain model at first. I do now. Howdy folks, I'm Autumn Witch and welcome to Bleeding Tree Gaming. Now, anyone that's watched this channel for more than a few years knows that I love a kit bash. And one of my favourite models to kit bash is the Leviathan starter set Terminator Captain, which I've done here for this dude. Now, there are more characters than just Terminator Captains, and I would like to have a crack at making some of them. So, I shall also be adding these two, with the Chaplain being a Chaplain, and the Captain becoming the model that they have the rules for, but they don't have an actual model in the regular range for, that being a Terminator Ancient. So what I'm going to do first is start with the Chaplain here, and I made it quite clear when we previewed this, me and Warpfiend, on the podcast, that I wasn't a big fan of it. So now I want to make it something that I am a big fan of. First things first, let's get the sprues and everything out. And there it is. Unlike the old Terminator kits that you basically had a 2-part torso and like 1-part legs with a little ball joint on them in the middle, you could get like a reasonable posing. These are designed to have a specific pose, and I kind of get it when it's, you're only expected to have one in your army, so you don't really need that diversity, but I like the diversity. My issues with the kit, as you see on the box, first off, I do not like the skull helm, and you get two versions in this kit. You get that one, and you get a half helm. Now, I find that the pose is a bit too static. I mean, this guy is a Chaplain. He's meant to be, as dynamic as Terminator armor will allow, whereas he just kind of looks like he's stood there wafting his crozius in something's vague direction. I want a more actiony pose. Now, you can see on the hips here that you do have a sort of ball joint, albeit with a peg. And if you look at the back of his torso, although it has the back plate for the lower half of his body, that looks easy to remove, and I may be able to get a degree of flexibility on the waist, which would be a big help to altering the pose. And also the other big thing is I like that the Chaplain can now take a storm shield, which is pretty cool. The only problem is white scars don't have nightly shields like this, and no matter how good like official paint jobs can be, you kind of need to do a bit more work in order to make the most out of the fact that you have white scars. My first plan is going to be to chop everything off the sprue that I think I may require, and then what I'm going to do is just drop that on the floor. Okay, right. So then what I'm going to do is start with the base. I always think that with a model you should start low, work your way up. And what I think I'm going to do for the base, I will just do a basic like cork build, I think. I think that would be... Now, to avoid losing bits, which I do often, I'm going to put a couple of sub-assemblies together. You can see here that where it's connected is ever so slightly, if I can score it. And there we are. Just a little bit of a tidy up there. And this will now fit in the slot where it's meant to be. I mean, any gaps at the back, I've got some sprue goo that I can use to fill them, or cover them with another decorative thing, like a scroll or a purity seal. That's it. My brain went weird then for a moment. Here is where we switch kit. I find the arm here on the push fit kit to be, I find it to be a lot more interesting a pose. So what I'm gonna have here is I'm going to take the hand with the bolter off, and I'm going to add the crucius. With the removed part going into the bits box. Now, to have him leaning forward, ever so slightly, is going to just put a bit more oomph in his gait. You see there's only a slight gap, so I may get away with just using some sprue goo there. Now the good thing about polystyrene cement is it gives you a lot of work time. See, I like the idea that he is striding. He doesn't need to have his crucius raised. I want him striding across the battlefield, stalking his next victim. To place him on the base. Now, the shield is a problem because it doesn't look like a White Scar shield. So, I have hunted through my bits box and various spare sprues, and I seem to recall a video, I can't remember who it was by, but they used a Tau drone carapace as the basis for a White Scar's shield. Now what this kit comes with, the dude, is there is a hand to fit onto a shield, which is cool. I like the way this is worked out. We have here, in the Push Fit Captain's sprue, that is an arm that it would match with the striding element of the composition. So, and now that that has been recessed a little, the top of the shield handle can now sit flush with the mechanism of the shield itself. And this is how it's going to go, and it's going to look really cool. Okay, so I'm going to have to put some decoration on the shield and come up with the head, and maybe something for the top of his armour, just to give him a bit more height, since all of the other Terminator characters have something, some form of banner, like on this guy, or a totem, like you can see on here. In fact, yes, I think I will use this. Now I need to work out something for the shield, and I need to decide on a head. Now, I'm going to try and just subtly bend. I'll probably work around it and add more to it, but if I can just get a slight curve, I'd rather not be arsing about with hot water and the like. Now, That is the main decoration that's going to be on the shield, but I shall certainly add some more elements to it. I'm taking the banner arm from the, well, I assume it's the old Citadel Skeletons kit. They've probably done a new one by now. Okay, what I'm going to do here, I'm not having a very coordinated day today, as you may have noticed. Give the skeleton a shield. I could give him a shield with a skeleton on it, so he's a skeleton on a shield, holding a shield with a skeleton on it. Yep, he's basically carrying almost a whole dude with a shield on his shield. I think one of the things that put me off this model is the fact that his face is painted white, when in all other Chaplains it's painted bone. So, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to put it in with a tap of glue that can be easily snapped away. Right, I am now going to look for some additional elements to decorate his armour. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to fill that gap there with sprue goo. So what I have are the remnants of the old Citadel Flagellants kit. Let's see, you've got books and boards, a book on a board, there's chains and there's ropes, there's parchments in here. Now I like the idea of the hourglass. I think we shall have an hourglass there. We shall take a bit of parchment. Here we have a scroll. This is the Primaris Intercessors sprue, and it's got some purity seals on here, along with some reliquaries. So what we're going to do is on the back, first of all, I'm going to get the regular glue, and I am going and he's going to need something, and right here, just to cover up that bit of chain. So there we are, he has some relics to his belt. And I'm going to be putting this reliquary on the back of his arm alongside a purity seal. So I have this top knot here from the Orc Knobs kit, which is going to go quite nicely on his head. So what I'm doing is drilling, because it's such a small contact point, I can pin it using a piece of paperclip. Now, looking around, he's going to need some kind of tilt shield, I think. But all of the ones that come with the basic Codex kits, they look like that, which is very sort of medieval European Templar-esque heraldry. So I think what I'm going to do, if I have a rummage through my bits box, I have some Tyranid bits. So I think would make for a decent piece of shoulder armour that is more befitting a white scar. And it's going to go right there. And to act as an anchor to the shoulder pad, I will also be attaching a purity seal, plume from 3rd edition Dark Eldar, and I think this would look quite good on this dude. And so now I add a few extra little bits here and there, and all that's left for me to do is put some stuff on the base and paint him. If you want to see how I paint white scars, I've got a video on that. If you want to see how I paint black armor, I've also got a video on that. I shall leave links in the end screen. We have a Ko-fi account, we have a Discord, and we have an Element Games affiliate link. So those details are in the description below. All I want to say now is thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. I'm Autumn Witch, and I'll catch you next time on Bleeding Tree Gaming.